Well, good evening, everyone, and certainly want to welcome our viewers to the April 6th Public Council meeting. As one of you can see us through the fog. If we were living in St. John's, you certainly wouldn't see us, but it hasn't been as bad in Conception Bay South, which is always nice. The last few days, I can even see the bay today from the house, which is nice, instead of seeing fog. So we'll start off the meeting with adoption of the agenda and minutes. First of all, adoption of the meeting agenda for April 6, 2021.
So
Move.
Yeah, I'll second it.
For Hillier, second Councillor Bursey. Next, adoption of the meeting minutes of the March 16th, 2021. Moved by
Moved to
Councillor
Seconded.
Bent, seconded by Councillor Bursey. Thank you. Business arising from previous minutes. There being none. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. Being none. New business. Start off with Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I have nothing to speak to this evening. Thank you very much. Well, I guess I hope just everybody that out there enjoyed a beautiful Easter weekend, and that's about it for me, sir. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Councillor Uden.
Nothing here tonight, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to wait till I give my comments at the Public Works and Engineering Committee meetings.
Okay. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. Some people have been questioning why we've had some power outages at the town hall over the past couple of weeks, and it's not because we're having trouble with our power supply or anything like that. Just want to let people know that, in fact, the power outages have been dealing with setting ourselves up to start construction on our new library. And in fact, we're certainly moving forward with that project. Most of the planning has been done, most of the design work has been done, and we're hoping to start construction certainly in the coming months. And from what we've seen, and most of the council have seen some of the plans, it's going to certainly be a building that we can all be proud of. Your Worship, I guess the second one, since we last met, we've lost one of our residents, Rita Eason. Rita was one of those ladies from Manuals who she reared up a bunch of boys of her own, but she was one of those mothers that sort of reared us all up as we moved around the community, and certainly she'll be sorely missed, and I pass along condolences to her family. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councillor Bent.
nothing tonight, Your Worship. I'm just going to comment on a few things that are coming up in the agenda later on. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Bursey.
And I'll say mine to the end as well, Your Worship.
Councillor Butler.
We're not very talkative tonight, are we? I'll have to say something then. Just want to mention about the little free pantries that are going really, really well. So well that restocking them has been, there's been quite a demand for restocking the 2 free pantries that are here in CBS. So I just want to remind residents that they are on social media, and the page is called Little Free Pantries CBS, and you can check out all the information there and where the pantries are and where the drop-off locations are. Different residents have volunteered to be drop-off points to fill up the pantries and whatnot. Also, they're getting quite a lot of use, and that's good to know, and that's exactly what it's there for. So thanks again to all the residents. That's it, Your Worship.
Good point, Councillor Butler. Councillor Davis.
Yes, Your Worship, I have a couple of items. First of all, Manuals River held their annual general meeting on Sunday, March 28th. I think Councillor Butler was in attendance. They have posted their annual report on the website. Jan Spracklin and Elizabeth Young, 2 long-term serving members of the Manuals River Natural Heritage Society Board, retired at the AGM meeting held on Sunday, March 29th. At that time, Board Chair Don Sword announced that the Society would be installing benches on the trail to recognize their significant contributions to Manuals River and their special attachment to the trails. Jan Spracklin retired with 25 years of service on the board, and Elizabeth Young had 17 years of service on the board. Another item I have, Your Worship, is the Conservation Corps Green Team. The town has been successful in its application to host a green team again in 2021. 4 youth from our town will be hired to work with the CBS Parks Commission. It is anticipated the job advertising will be posted in the coming weeks. Also, Your Worship, I have a little reminder. The trailway parking. I'd like to stress for safety for all our users of the beautiful trailway, parking in front of the gates along the route is prohibited. The gates are designed to allow emergency vehicles and personnel access in the event that they need to reach someone who may need their services while enjoying the trail. We kindly ask that the users refrain from parking in a manner that will block the gates. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Davis. So I got a couple of things. Seeing we just left off on the trail walking. I had the privilege of walking the trail myself a fair bit over the last, I guess, few weeks, and I know councillors do the same on a regular basis. And it warms the heart, let me tell you, to see the number of people that are out using our trails. And as one of the councillors brought up earlier this evening, you know, I think Councillor Bursey, he knows people that actually leaves other places in the province and comes here just to walk our trails because they are beautiful. Whether it's the Manuels River Trail, whether it's our trail that runs along throughout our town, and many more. So please continue to use them. And I like I said, it does the heart good. But a couple of things I'd like to point out about people who use the trail. So some people use the trail on bikes, and I'm delighted to see it. Another good use for our trail system. But some of them use a motorized bike, a motorized pedal bike, and it's not against the law because I think the number of CCs, and we've bet this around the council table quite a bit. We've had our own people get involved and do some research. So apparently you're allowed to use the a pedal bike with a motor on it if it's up to a certain number of CCs and it doesn't break any laws. So I had the privilege, like I said, of walking the trail a bit. I did run across a couple of people who were using the motorized bikes. And I'll just say to you, please have respect for the other people who are walking the trail or biking on the trail. Unfortunately, I was on the trail the other evening with a couple of other couples who weren't with me, but I passed them. And the bike kind of weaved in and out, going at a remarkable speed, to tell you the truth. And I see lots of people use assisted travel bikes, which are not the same. But the motorized ones, you can hear them coming a long way off. Just please slow down and respect other people when you're using it, because it is very dangerous and you could really, really hurt someone. And although there was nothing close that happened in the incident when I was there, it certainly startled a couple of the people that I had walked past along the way. So please be careful and certainly watch out for people, because we have people of all ages and sizes using the trail, some kids, some pets. So please be really, really careful for the people who are using those motorized bikes. The other thing I'll talk about is, and there was an article in the local paper, I believe it was last week, concerning people's dog droppings. And I know there was a lady who uses the trail quite a bit, was interviewed and talked about it at great length. So please clean up after your pets. I mean, I have a pet, a small dog now that I walk. Never did I dream in my life that I would be doing that, but I am, and I certainly enjoy it. And it's not the highlight of my day when I bend down with my little bag and pick up after him along the trail, but it's something that we have to do. And, you know, you have to respect everybody using the trail. And not only the trail system, but now we have a lot of people who walk our by roads and side roads and sidewalks. And, you know, they're narrow roads. And some of them go into the country a little bit and loop together, as is the case that I use, where Dunshill Road connects to Greeleytown Road, comes in through my road. Like, there's an awful amount of dog waste left as people just leave it and don't do anything with it. So I ask all people who are out there with their dogs, even outside of the trails, but on regularly used paths, please clean up after your dogs, you know, and think of other people when you're using it. The other thing that's coming up here later tonight is the crosswalk at Manuels River. I believe is coming forward tonight, that we're going to commence some work on that. That's always been a struggle for this council. It goes back a long, long way, and I'm not taking any of the committee's word away from this. I don't mean to interrupt anything, But we've always struggled as a council on this one because there was all kinds of regulations and rules relating to the intersection and how close lights could be. And we've betted around and betted around. And finally, I think we found something that now we can do I guess, put together a plan, an engineering plan, and how we deal with a crosswalk that intersects, of course, Easton's Road has to be considered. Manuel's Bridge has to be considered with traffic coming from two different areas and the lights. So hopefully we can find a resolution to that sooner rather than later. I think we can. And now it's all about design and, of course, costing and so on. So that's about it. That's about all I have tonight so far. There's a couple items coming up I might speak to as well. So first off the hop tonight, we have the recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee. Chair Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. I've got one recommendation coming out of our committee of the whole meeting this evening. Be it so resolved that approval be given to waive connection fee for 2 units of a proposed triplex or triplex located at 58 Monument Road. So moved.
If I could, Your Worship, I'm stepping out of this one due to conflict. So if you could put me in the waiting room until this one is dealt with, I'd appreciate it.
I apologize, Councillor Bent. I should have given you a heads up on that.
Okay, I think he's gone there now, Councillor Hillier. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Councillor Uden, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And then, Your Worship, the remainder of our recommendations come out of our regular committee meeting of March 30, 2021. Number 1, 154 Middlebite Road.
Is Darren back, guys? Is Darren back in?
Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Yeah, can we let the Councillor Bent back?
Sorry, Rex.
Good catch, Councillor Bursey. Councillor Hillier is trying to ignore Councillor Bent tonight. Not intentionally.
Leave and we got to know we can't get him back.
At his own risk, but I am back, Your Worship. We're good to go.
All right, come on, Councillor Hillier.
Are we ready to go?
We're ready.
Hands in their seats. Yes, Your Worship. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's authority under Section 312 of the Town's Development Regulations, application number 2021-017 received on February 12, 2021, seeking approval of a variance to reduce the minimum building line setback from 10 meters to 9 meters at 154 Middlebite Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder.
I'll second that one.
Councillor Bursey, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a situation where we had an odd-shaped lot at Middlebite Road. In order for the resident to be able to fit the house in there properly, we've allowed. He applied for a variance, and we're saying yes to that application.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Number 2, Duns Hill Road Quarry. Be it so resolved that in consideration of the council's discretionary authority at sections 10.7 and 10.27.5 of the town's development regulations, and that council is of the opinion that the proposed quarry at Duns Hill Road would result in nuisances in the form of noise, dust, increased commercial and industrial traffic, and will adversely affect the amenity of existing residential development within 1,000 meters and the general vicinity of the proposed quarry, application number COM-21-027 received on February 24, 2021, seeking approval of a quarry at Duns Hill Road be refused. So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Councillor Bursey, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. This one went out for residential input, and we had a significant number of a significant amount of feedback from a large number of residents. A lot of the concerns were in common, and some of those are listed there. Noise was obviously an issue on Duns Hill Road, dust, increased commercial traffic, safety. Duns Hill Road is in itself a residential street with a lot of children, narrow shoulders, and so on. So those were issues that came out of our public consultation. Also concerned that the closest house to that quarry is only about 300 meters, and we look for in our regulations 1,000 meter distance from a quarry such as this. So we're we're recommending refusal of the application.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I received quite a number of emails, calls, running into people mentioning to me as well. And as Councillor Hillier highlighted previously in one of our meetings, this is a process that you have to go through, that everybody has the right to apply for a permit for anything. And, they have to be given their due diligence. And the people who applied were given their due diligence. So just because some of the people that approached me on it and approached some of the council on it were pretty, pretty aggressive in the nature of, why are you even talking about this? But it's a process that we go through with all applications. Ones we might agree with, ones we mightn't agree with individually, but it's important that everybody have the ability to apply knowing that in full, their application will get full consideration. And then whether that be yay or nay, in this case it's nay, but I can assure you, everybody, that that's a process that everybody will get. And if you will, I've been telling people everybody got to have their day in court. I guess this is that sort of a thing. Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, proposed multi-use unit residential development. Be it resolved that in accordance with Council's authority as section 10.7 of the town's development regulations, application number 2020-014 received on February 17, 2020, seeking approval of a 10-unit group dwelling development at 3240 Hines Road, be approved. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilley.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, going back to your commentary on the previous recommendation, this recommendation would have gone through the same process, put out for resident input, and in this case, council has chosen to recommend, or committee has chosen to recommend approval.
All those in favor?
Your Worship, if I can speak to that, please. Yeah, I just want to reiterate Chair Hillier's words. We didn't receive a lot of correspondence from the neighborhood area, but we certainly did take that into consideration. And just want to pass along. We know from the past and then well into the future that any types of these units that we propose for in the town of CBS, they're normally gobbled up before there's even a tractor in the ground. So seniors housing, or senior housing, I should say, not seniors. Senior housing is something that's desperately needed in this town, and I'll certainly look forward to seeing this development. I actually probably cleaning up that particular area, because that's been a piece of barren land ever since I was born, for sure. So it's certainly going to make the tidy up the area there for sure.
Sorry about that, Councillor Tilley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 4, 176 Foxshop Access Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with council's authority as section 10.8 of the town's development regulations, application number 21-ACC019 received on February 15, 2021, seeking approval for an accessory building at 176 Foxshop Access Road be refused, as the proposed accessory building will be located within the open space conservation zone, where residential accessory buildings are not listed as permitted or discretionary uses. So moved.
Seconder?
I'll second
Councillor
that.
Uden.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 5, 87 Comerford's Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with council's authority as section 10.7 of the town's development regulations, application number COM-21-021 received on February 10, 2021, seeking approval of personal service use salon at 87 Comerford's Road be approved. So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
Councillor Bursey. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, item number 6, I am declaring conflict of interest in this item as a family-related business. So I'd ask to be excused from the meeting, please.
That's it. If we could put them out, there we go. Okay, carry on, Councillor Hillier.
40 Foxtrot Access Road recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with council's authority at section 10.8 Towns Development Regulations, application number COM-21-003 received on January 13, 2021, seeking approval for an extension to the existing commercial building at 40 Foxtrot Access Road, be refused, given that the proposed extension exceeds the maximum permitted size of extensions to a legal non-conforming use prescribed by section 108(3)(g of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Butler, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, just I guess just a definition or an indication what we're talking about. A legal non-conforming use is sometimes referred to as a grandfather clause. And basically what we've got here with these, there are a bunch of them throughout the town. I believe we dealt with over 70 at one point last year. And basically what we're saying here is that you have a business operating in a residential area where it's not supposed to be, but we've allowed it to stay. This is built into the Urban and Rural Planning Act, so it's provincial legislation. And in this case, we're not allowed to increase the size or allow the size of this building to increase because it's under provincial legislation. And that's why we have to turn it down to Maine.
Your Worship, just really quickly, I got a fair amount of sympathy for, I guess, the proponent in this case. While we could allow a extension or expansion up to, I believe, 750 square feet, I think it's probably unsuitable. And you know, a non-conforming or a grandfathered in use is generally, you know, sometimes the residential area grows up around an existing business, and we rezone it to residential so that they don't expand anymore, and because the use of the land in the general areas change. So I wish there was some way we could accommodate this business, but unfortunately we can't. And the only option would be a rezoning process for the applicant if they wanted to build something of that size.
Councillor Tilley?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to refuse the application. You know, this particular business has been thriving in CBS for almost 50 years, and it's unfortunate that under the current legislation that we can only provide a maximum allowed extension to the building, and of course that can't be done. As like Councillor Uden just said, there is an avenue that they can pursue, and I'll certainly recommend that they'll go ahead and do that.
And I just want to echo what everybody just said. It's awful hard when you see a business that's been in our community. I think Councillor Tilley, you said 50 years. Some would probably argue in some form or another a lot longer than that even. So it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things. It's provincial law, and as much as we'd like to, it's one of those things you have to do when it comes to council, and especially planning, that you don't like to do, but it's you have to follow the laws, unfortunately, in this case. And you know, we'd love to do anything we can, obviously, to enhance people's businesses, but this is a real unfortunate one that we all struggle with. I can speak for everybody that was on the committee that day. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
against? Motion carried.
Number 7, 8 Luxton Avenue, be it so resolved that in accordance with the council's overall discretion authority.
Rich is not in, guys.
Excuse me, Councillor Hilliard.
Rich is not in.
Deputy Mayor Murphy.
It's twice now.
That's me getting in trouble. I'm supposed to catch that, Councillor
Councillor
Hilliard.
Bursey, I see you got a new job sitting
Yeah.
on council.
Yeah, we have to switch, Councillor Bursey.
Make sure everybody's in the house for a vote.
Yeah.
I'm here this time, Rex. You go ahead.
Carry on. Deputy Mayor's here.
All right. 8 Luxton Avenue recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with council's overall discretion authority at section 4.6 of the town's development regulations, application number 2021-045, received on March 18, 2021, seeking approval of a 2-apartment dwelling at 8 Luxton Avenue, be refused in consideration that the proposed development has the appearance of a double dwelling, which is not inconsistent with character of the neighborhood. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bent. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 8, 1330 Conception Bay Highway. Recommendation, be so resolved that in accordance with sections 5.32 and 5.3.32 of the town's development regulations, approval is granted for a 7.32 meter by 6.1 meter accessory building at 1330 Conception Bay Highway, on condition that the accessory building is complementary to the dwelling in style and exterior finish such that it does not have the appearance of a prefabricated corrugated steel arch building or Quonset hut. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Second.
Councillor Bursey, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, our regulations require that an accessory building be complementary to the main residence, and what that means is similar in roof line, similar in color, similar in siding, and so on. And that's what we're approving here tonight.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
And number 9, Your Worship, the blanket statement. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations made.
Your Worship, Rick's,
Sorry?
I believe there's a recommendation in the minutes for fleet replacement.
That's Public Works.
Okay, sorry, never mind.
I can do that too.
No, never mind. My mistake.
Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on March 30, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilly, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Recommendations, Engineering and Public Works Committee, Chair Councillor Gerard Tilly.
Thank you, Worship. The following recommendations come out of our meeting held on March 30th, 2021. Now, I believe Councillor Uden, you may be in conflict on the first one.
If it's the replacement of trucks, yes.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm going to declare conflict. My father-in-law works at Hickman Motors.
can we
I'll watch
remove-
it, Kurt. I'll take care of you.
All right, carry on, Councillor Tilly.
Okay, the recommendation, this is a vehicle purchase from Capital Fleet for 2021. Be it so resolved that approval be given to purchase one 4x4 light duty truck from Hickman Motors Limited as quoted for the price of $36,336 plus HST. Funds will be taken from the Capital Fleet account. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Butler, discussion.
And Your Worship, this is just a vehicle replacement. As you can tell on my next recommendation, we're going to be disposing of a few trucks, so they had to be replaced.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, I remember this time. Can we get Councillor Uden back? You there, Councillor Uden?
I am.
Okay, the second is the approval to dispose of 3 2011 GMC Sierra trucks. And the recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to dispose of 3 2011 GMC Sierra units 270, 271, and unit 410. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Davis, discussion.
And Your Worship, these vehicles are 10 years old. They've served their time well with the town. I believe all of them are almost in the excess of 200,000 kilometers. So they had to be replaced or had to be disposed of.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And number 3, approval to tender supply of asphalt. Be it so resolved that approval be given to tender for the supply of asphalt required for annual maintenance and operations. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second that motion.
Councillor Bursey, discussion.
And Your Worship, this is just a standard tender that we call every year for the little projects that we do throughout the town, and we just go ahead and get the asphalt as and when required.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the next one is the Manals River Crosswalk on Route 60. Just to further add to what you spoke about in your preamble. The town has engaged an external consultant to assess the existing crosswalk at Route 60 in Manals River. The assessment included updated pedestrian movements and vehicle volume counts, Several key generators contributed to a recommendation, which includes location within a school zone, trailway access, parking locations to nearby facilities, and commercial establishments. Ultimately, a pedestrian activated traffic signal was recommended under current design standards in coordination with updated signage, road markings, and appropriate permitting from authorities having jurisdiction. To further define our design, construction costs, and preliminary permitting, Council has agreed to proceed with detailed engineering design. The detailed design will also utilize the town's traffic model to determine if there are any impacts on neighboring intersections and traffic lights. So be it so resolved that approval be given to engage Harborside Transportation Consultants at a cost of $13,970 plus HST to complete the engineering design of a pedestrian activated traffic signal at the Conception Bay Highway Mounds River crosswalk. So moved.
I'll second that.
Councillor Bent, discussion.
If I could, Your Worship, and I know yourself and Councillor Tilly spoke to this, but I just wanted to say a few words about it. It's something that's been before council for some time because residents have raised concerns about the safety there. It's become a busier and busier spot over the years. And of course, with the further development of the Manuals River Trail all the way to Worsley Park, people are taking advantage of that beautiful trail and are able to come through that section. And a lot of times they park over on the Manuals River side and want to cross over, or vice versa. And it really came into focus this past winter when we had our lighted walk down there, and we had thousands upon thousands of people out to enjoy that display. And a lot of people raised concerns about it because of the traffic and because of the number of pedestrians down there. So I'm really pleased that after some time, and I think it's long overdue, but I'm glad that it's coming to a bit of a fruition now, that we're moving forward to see what exactly is possible, what can work best, and to improve safety down there for both the pedestrians that want to use the trails or the Manuals River facility, or just simply want to be out for a walk in that area. I think it's a great step forward to see what's possible and look at what kind of a lighted situation may be possible down there and find out what the costs are for the residents so that we can hopefully move forward and find a good solution going forward. Thank you, Your Worship.
Yeah, I just to add to what I said earlier, the initial reaction is of Mitch. I was the same. You go down, you bang down a crosswalk and walk away from it. But there's a lot more to that at that intersection, that site. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. So it's important that we get a proper consultant involved to design the proper safe crosswalk, and it will take us a bit of time. So for people that are using the area over the next couple of months, number of months, I should say, especially leading into the summer, there'll be more and more traffic there. Please be careful. And if you can do it at all, please use the underpass that goes under the bridge instead of walking across the 4-lane traffic, because it's tough enough to cross a 4-lane traffic anywhere when there's 4 lanes. Even with crosswalks, it brings us a whole new set of complications with people not being able to see around cars and so on. So please keep an eye out down there over the next number of months, in particular the summer when it really picks up and traffic is busy and pedestrian traffic is just as busy. So please be careful. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The next one has to do with a coastal assessment along Lampand. Following the 2020 snowstorm of Snowmageddon and the damages sustained to the Lampand breakwater, the town quickly acted to repair the breakwater to pre-storm conditions as required under the terms for storm damage relief funding from the federal government. Discussions following the storm repairs included climate change and environmental impacts, structural stability, financial responsibility, and most importantly, public safety. Council agreed to undertake a comprehensive coastal assessment of the area, which would provide recommendations for breakwater design, upgrades if required, maintenance, and associated estimates. Unfortunately, late in January 2021, we saw another significant marine event that again damaged the breakwater. Restoring to pre-storm conditions was clearly not an option this time, and repairs and upgrades have been ongoing for the last several weeks. Council is committed to public safety and will continue with the first step of the coastal assessment by calling a request for proposals. So the recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to call a request for proposal for a comprehensive coastal assessment along Long Pond, including a review of and summary of all coastal assessment documents completed in recent years for the Conception Bay South area. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Bent, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And your worship, just the last blanket recommendation. And before I get into that one, I'm hoping that the Director of Public Works can hear me online. The winter snow clearing parking ban, I do believe that is no longer in effect. Ms. Lake, I wonder if you can confirm that?
Correct. It finished April 1st.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Recommendation from our blanket recommendation of our meeting held on March 30th. Be it so resolved that the recommendations decisions made at the Engineering Public Works Committee meeting of March 30, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Bursey, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed?
And
Motion
that's
carried.
it for me. And that's it for Public Works, your worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tilley. Next up, we have the recommendations, the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee Chair, Councillor Junior Bursey.
Thanks, your worship. Just for I move into the blanket recommendation. Just got a couple of little updates. The summer job opportunities have been posted on all the town's social media platforms. A full listing and job description for each available position can be found on the town's website. Please note that all positions are subject to funding approval and to the establishment of the summer day camp program under the current public health guidelines. The deadlines for applications is Friday, April 16, 2021. And the second one, your worship, is the Recreation and Culture Master Plan is progressing very well. Currently, questionnaires have been sent out to all our stakeholders, and virtual focus group sessions are scheduled to take place later this week. Our residential survey is being prepared, and it's our hope that it will be made available in the next week or so. We encourage all residents to take time to complete the survey that will be available on the town's website. Paper copies of the residential survey will also be made available as well, your worship. And just now to the blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations that be resolved that the recommendation decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Service meeting on March 29th, 2021 be accepted and presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier, discussion? I just want to add to that, yeah, as Councillor Bursey said, encourage every resident to take part in the Recreation Master Plan. There'll be a number of avenues to take part. Fill out the surveys, get involved with the focus groups and so on if invited, but certainly fill out the surveys. This is going to be a plan that was put in place. I think the last plan, I don't know if somebody on council was 10, 12, 15 years ago, maybe.
About 2010, I believe it was.
2010. So it's
2010,
time now to update that plan, and this is going to carry us on for another 10, 15 years. So get involved in it. There's a lot of good things came out of the last plan, and hopefully a lot of good things will come out of the new one. And I'm sure they will. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, next we have recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee. Chair, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I am going to ask Councillor Bent to bring forward item number 1, because I have to declare conflict of interest again because of my family involvement, and they're named on the check register. So I'll ask Councillor Bent to look after that, and I will step outside.
With pleasure, Deputy Mayor.
Put them out in the penalty box if we could. There we go. Okay, Councillor Bent.
So item number 1 is accounts payable check register, and the recommendation is be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $629,615.22. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second
Councillor
that.
Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Let's bring
Okay.
Deputy Murphy back.
Mayor, back for number 2. Okay, Deputy Mayor, pick us up at number 2.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. That would be the ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $457,661.66. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second that.
Councillor Davis, I think was the first one there up. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the next is ratification of direct payments previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify direct payments previously released totaling $748,705.18. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bent. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next one is concerning capital invoices. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $315,249.41 as per the attached table. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the next is the ultimate gas recipient gas tax audit. Be it so resolved that that the town approve the 2020 ultimate recipient gas tax audited statement as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hillier. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those
And finally-
opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, sorry for the interruption, Your Worship.
That's all right.
The final is the blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of March 30th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Next, we're on to recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism. Chair, Councillor Cheryl Davis.
Yes, Your Worship. Presentation of recommendations of meeting held March 30th, 2021. Water lot lease policy. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that the water lot lease policy be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second that motion.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship. The town's water lot lease policy defines the terms and conditions for residents and entities that wish to secure a water lot lease outside the 1951 original high water mark within the waters of Long Pond that are under the jurisdiction of the town and endures all leaseholders are on equal footing in terms of lease rates. The town manages 31 water lot leases throughout the Inner Harbor and Long Pond manuals. As a result of the divestiture of the Inner Harbor from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans in 2016. This policy was initially adopted on March 5th, 2019 to support the management of the water lot leases. It has been a full lease term, 5 years since the divestiture. Therefore, it was prudent to evaluate our existing policy and lease agreements to be sure both documents remained relevant and aligned. All water lot lease holders were emailed the draft water lot lease policy on March 17th, 2021, and the policy is included within the public agenda for this evening's meeting for the information of the public. Second one, downtown CBS.
Oh, wait, now, sorry, quick,
Right.
soundly correct, Councillor Davis.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, Councillor Davis. Carry
Okay,
on.
number two, downtown CBS 2021 budget. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that the 2021 budget of downtown Conception Bay South be approved. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bent, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, the Board of Management for the Business Improvement Association is in place to promote, enhance, and improve the area defined as downtown CBS and carry out special projects, activities, and events. To do this, a levy of 10% of the business tax for each business within the area is collected. Annually, the town approves their budget, which for 2021 is $84,600. The BIA intend to continue with their marketing efforts, hopefully host a couple of in-person events later in the year, and hire a part-time executive director to assist in the execution of their goals and objectives.
A very proactive group, if I do say so.
If I could, Your Worship, one of the, and I sit on that board, of course, and I'll speak to it now rather than at other committees. But the work that they do with their budget has been fantastic and has been a great addition to our town over the years. And they're moving in a little different direction now with hiring a executive director coming up out of this budget to put feet on the ground and have create a face to the organization, to liaise with the business members and to work with them and enhance their experience within the town, and of course help with the promotion of the business within the town. So that will be a great addition to this organization. And of course, that's something that I'd encourage anyone that may be interested in that type of a position to watch for that posting coming up. I suspect, Councillor Davis, probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to see something with that. So that will be a great opportunity for somebody within the town, and a great opportunity for this organization to further expand their visibility and their outreach to businesses within the BIA section in downtown CBS. Thank you, Your Worship.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Yes, Your Worship. We also have a recommendation coming from our recent committee meeting. Trailway repairs, Warford Road to Doyle's Road. Recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval be given for the Grand Concourse to complete the necessary repairs to the trailway from Warford's Road to Doyle's Road at a cost of $85,678.66. Funds will come from the capital out of revenue. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Uden, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship. 1 kilometer section of developed trail between Warford's Road and Doyle's Road and Upper Gullies remain closed due to the January storm event of 2020, as recommended by engineering consultants. We have asked our engineering consultant to further assess the area and propose a solution to allow the reopening of this section of the trailway. The recommendation was to reroute 355 meters of the trail away from the bank remaining within the trailway right-of-way and install proper barricades and signage warning users to avoid the edge of the bank. Safety of our residents and visitors always remains our top priority, and we want to be sure everyone can continue to experience the coastline section of the trailway in a safe manner. We will circulate notice to the public when the repairs are ready to commence.
Yeah, I just want to add that at least now I think that's the last of the Snowmageddon piece. So it's taking us a bit of time to get there, but please God, now we'll get the whole thing done for the summer. And I realize, like I mentioned earlier, there's so many people using our trail right now and enjoys it, whether it be on bike and on foot, and hopefully that'll enhance that another bit. I know, unfortunately, a lot of people use it currently, even though it's closed, and we're not recommending that because of it's a safety issue. However, hopefully with the readjusting of the trail in the next month or so, or a couple of months, we'll have it tip top again. May not be as good as we'll have it some further down Life's Road. We do some bank stabilization, but that's part of a bigger plan, I guess, further down Life's Road. So again, please be careful up there now, and it's going to be, keep an eye out for the warnings of when we're going to be doing work there, and stay safe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Yes, Your Worship, just a blanket statement. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of March 30th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilley, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Davis. And without further ado, other committee report.
Your Worship, if I can just jump in for a second, I made
go ahead.
an error. I made an error from my recommendations. I advised the public that the winter parking ban was over as of April 1st. That is incorrect. The winter parking ban is in effect until May 1st. So I just want to make that clarification clear.
Yes, we wish we could end it on April 1st, probably, but unfortunately, we got to be careful for another few weeks.
Unfortunately.
All right, good call, Councillor Tilley. Good pick. All right, anything else, guys? Other than that, any other committee reports? There being none, call for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Councillor Hillier, second by Councillor Bent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good night, guys.
Thank you so much.
Staff and council and our viewers.